What's up, everybody? Dead Girl here. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for us to chat with one of our special guests. With me this evening is Mr. Ricky Dick, the owner of local Pennsylvania award-winning haunt Castle Blood. How are you this evening?
Hey, everybody. I am great. I am taking a break from working too darn hard with the other cast members getting ready for the season, and today is an off day.
Yay! Well, first of all, I'm very happy to hear that you guys are opening this year.
Me too.
I know things have been a little crazy, and we'll get into all that, but I do have to ask, and I know you've been doing this for a long time, over 20-something years, right?
Yeah, this is our 28th Halloween.
Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Or condolences, depending on what you think is crazy.
I mean, a little column A, a little column B. How did you get started in the haunt industry? What got you into it?
Costumes and makeup and performing before all that. Back in the 80s, I owned a costume shop and learned to be a makeup artist before there were all these schools everywhere. Mm-hmm. And did clowning and magic stuff to learn how to be a performer. Actually, even did circus work for a little while. And
really?
Everything from circus work to birthday party clown to Pizza Hut balloon twister and everything in between. And then we just started decorating for Halloween because I always was, a monster kid from the 70s and collecting famous monsters magazines and all that kind of stuff. And I had seen a Starlog magazine that had an article about Bob Burns, a famous effects artist who decorated his yard in Southern California and had all these famous sci-fi actors help him.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, these days I'm going to do that. It just seemed really cool.
And that's kind of how it started too, Castle Blood. You guys started as a home haunt, right?
Home haunt, 2 or 3 hours a night a year, one night a year for a couple hours, and that was it. We had crazy costumes because a lot of the people that were there, it was like kind of a party for us. Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, a couple hundred trick-or-treaters are here too.
Well, yeah.
And because so many of my friends are performers, they would, do little bits of business to hand out candy and stuff like that. And it kind of grew for that for 2 years. We did a couple of things before we were Castle Blood. And we did Castle Blood twice just as pure trick-or-treating. And then we turned it into a couple of days, like a week long at the end of the month for a couple bucks. And it just started growing from that because it was just kind of, everything we always did was kind of different than anything else was being done.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you guys, now how long did you do the yard home haunt? Was that 2 or 3 years? And then you were like, okay, we need some space. How did getting your own building actually come about? Like, how did the evolution?
It came about in 1995. We were in the yard charging a couple bucks, like I said. And on Halloween night, it snowed.
Oh, wow.
And we were just out in the yard. And some of my actors, got close to pneumonia and stuff like that because we were doing 3-4 hours, and I'm like, yeah, we've got to try and change this up. Mm-hmm. And you'd never tell it from the pictures. We bought a building and we were only in there for 2 years, and it did not work out in that town at all. And we did another 16 years back at my house.
Wow.
Pictures, you can't tell we're outside. Nobody, even when people are walking through, they couldn't tell they were mostly out. Believe it or not, you actually went through my real house a bit too.
Really?
Yeah. I don't necessarily recommend it unless you own stock in carpet scrubber machines,
Yeah, it can get a little messy.
A little bit. Especially if it just rains all season and we turn into castle mud.
Oh, that's not fun. I'm originally from up in the northern area, from upstate New York, so I'm very familiar with how quickly that weather changes into fall, and towards the end of October, it's quite cold, so I can definitely...
Yep.
I definitely feel for you guys.
Multiple times over the years. I've had to shovel the haunt.
That's gotta be rough.
Haunter skill. Yeah.
Now, you guys were in a building for a couple of years. You went back to your house for 16 years. And now you've got a building that you're in right now. Mm-hmm. And that building was that a morgue before you guys got in there?
It was a funeral parlor. Well, it was built in 1905 by one of the founders of our little city here that we're in. And in the 30s, it got sold and it was turned into a funeral home for the first time. And then for 4 different families owned it. And it was like one of those little, the ground floor is where they do the services and the family lives upstairs kind of thing.
Yeah.
And under 4 families that ran until 2009 when the kids had all moved away and the owner passed away. And it sat fallow for a couple of years, and we were lucky enough to manage to pull it off of the county registry before they tore it down, to be honest.
Oh, wow. So you guys kind of save it. You gave it a rebirth, so to speak.
Yeah, we did. It's taken some time for the locals to understand that even though it's Castle Blood because we're vampires, and all the vampires are elegant creatures and all like that.
Right.
It's not a harsh thing where you really have to worry about bringing your kids here. Okay. Scary, yes. Gross, grabbing you, chainsaws, no, not so much.
Okay. So it's a family-friendly haunt.
Sort of, yeah. Family-friendly is always a mixed bag of curse because most kids these days can take it.
Yeah.
Some can't take it. But that doesn't mean it's not for adults. You know, it's like, if the Disney Mansion had live actors in it, would it still really be family-friendly or not? Yeah. So,
I would consider it
once
so.
with live action. It was weird.
Now, I know you've got your whole family's involved with Castle Blood. You have your daughter and wife are involved, and I've got some really fun pictures, too, that you were kind enough to send us just so that I can show everybody. So right here I've got a photo of you and the missus and the amazing building. That
was my daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter? I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's Scully. Yeah, my daughter Caitlin. She has been performing as Scully for Scully Macabre since she was 7. And this is actually her 25th year of performing it now. But that's when she was working in the lab. And that was a promo picture from when we were fundraising. So when we got to this building, we could build a new lab. And of course, then on the left is the beautiful old lady that we're in now.
Oh, she's absolutely stunning. And I'm sure in person she's even more beautiful.
And it's a lot bigger than you think because additions and garages and stuff like that were put on it, but that's all covered with trees and bushes, so you don't see the whole thing when you first come in. So people are going to get a little freaked out of how long, even if you were stopping by for lunch because you just wanted to take a look, you'd be amazed how long it takes us just to walk through without a show.
Oh, wow. I can only see. I need to come visit you guys one of these years for sure. And I have another shot here of you and the family.
So let's see. Well, that's me, obviously. My wife, Dawn, is in the lab coat. My sister is Stormy, and she is what Stevie Nicks patterned her look after. We'll go with that.
Yes.
And my daughter and 2 granddaughters being their little gypsies.
Aww. Now, are the granddaughters involved in the haunt as well?
They are. They work the matinee shows, so there's other little kids. Our matinee shows are kind of a bring your kids to work situation. For all that want to bring their kids and they work their scenes with them.
Oh, that's got to be so much fun.
It makes the little kids that are coming through for the matinee much happier that there's other little kids in, you know?
It gives them a little bit more of a comfort level.
Yeah. I mean, the adults get freaked out when the little kids are working with us, but the other kids love it.
I mean, to be fair, kids can be kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and my daughter and my niece Rachel, they started out pretty darn creepy.
And they just grew up beautifully creepy.
Yep.
That's fantastic. And I know, you have a lot of your family involved, but you guys also get a lot of haunt actors from out of state that come to work with you guys, correct?
We do, because we were such like fanish costumers and stuff, and we go to these fan conventions, Worldcon, Costume Con, some cosplay events, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We meet all these other people, and they want a place where they can, everybody's into creating these characters.
Right.
And a lot of times after you've been cosplaying so long, you start creating your own original characters, and they want a place for those to go play. So if they have something a little on the darker side, it's like, yeah, come on over.
That's fantastic. I love it. Now, did you start doing conventions, did you spread out and start doing more conventions once you started to actually I guess, evolve Castle Blood into what it is today? Did you start going out to network and to, look for people that maybe do props, or do you design all of your own props and sets?
Well, we started going to different conventions more often.
Okay.
I've been going to the regular geeky, nerdy conventions. My first one was in 1979.
Oh, nice.
So there's never been a year where I haven't gone to one. But once we started the castle, we started going to horror conventions around the country. And when we had our little TV show, we were like guests to go to other things as horror hosts and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
But we still go. We still go to Costume Con when we can.
Nice.
Once in a while I miss one, but my wife still goes. And, last time we went, we all competed and stuff too, and won some prizes. The old man just, can still win a prize once in a while in a new costume. So that was cool.
That's fantastic. Did you say you had a TV show?
Yeah, we did. I need to say something first real quick that you won't understand, but please forgive me. I just need to say bag because my daughter texted me with a joke. We had Midnight Monster Hop was a classic old-time horror host show where we show crappy movies and do ridiculous skits in between. We had the castle sitting there. So unlike most horror hosts where they have a curtain in mom's basement, nothing but love horror hosts. We had 6,000 square feet of attraction to film in.
Oh, wow.
And a revolving cast of as many as 75 people that are here at any given, 30 or 40 are here at any given time, right?
Wow.
So doing a show was relatively easy when we found a little TV station that was willing to do it. They had their little ESPN type truck that they would do basketball games with, so they just would pull up to the castle and run all the cable in and start filming.
Was that a little local show, I'm assuming, then?
It ended up being nationally syndicated on 75 markets for a couple of years.
Really?
We are on what is now what Svengoolie has at 10 o'clock on Saturdays.
Okay.
People might remember that he kind of replaced Wolfman Mac. We had it before. We had that slot before Wolfman Mac.
What was the name of your show?
Midnight Monster Hop.
Midnight. I'm going to have to do some digging and see if I can't find stuff.
Yeah, you can totally find skit clips on YouTube and stuff like that.
That's so awesome. I had no idea. That's fantastic.
A lot of it was very silly because it was all the, just making the props spookier and doing old clown skits and circus gags and stuff, And people called us hee-haw for dead guys. Because we had cemetery jokes where people would pop up in the cemetery and tell a joke like the cornfield on hee-haw.
Yes.
So, it was very ridiculous and it was great fun.
How long did you guys do that for?
3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And believe it or not, the kind of deals we signed, it would not surprise me if it's still being shown somewhere of the old reruns.
Oh.
It's like, whatever, get it out there, it's all good.
I'm gonna have to do a little bit of digging and see if I can't find it now. My interest is piqued.
Too online, I think freeundergroundtv.com plays it from time to time.
All right, I'm making a note. Free Underground TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can't track her down. Now, you did send me some pictures of the inside of the haunt, which I absolutely love. So I just wanted to showcase some of these here. I've got this first set up here. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
That's two of the walls in the lab. We call it the Experimentorium. Very steampunky kind of lab with experiments and winky blinkies and everything all over. So it's actually a 2-room scene. Those are 2 walls in the first room.
Okay.
So it's pretty extreme. Everybody loves it. We just got it going a few years ago, and it's an aesthetic that I've always liked.
Oh, so it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, is this something that you guys created, or did you buy certain pieces of this?
Well, there's one piece of vacuform behind the big green tube on the right that a friend got us because it was misshapen out of the vacuform machine. Otherwise, everything else is made from scratch, and
Wow.
Like
you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. A lot of the cast works very, very hard to make that happen. It'll take days just to get the black base coat, let alone the OCD Ricky all do 3 different colors of copper sponging and the patinas and everything else.
So if you're going to build a set like that, for one of the areas in your haunt, how long does something like that roughly take? Because I know between like dry time and everything else, is that going to like months, weeks?
No, weeks. I mean, if you were really just straight working on it,
Yeah.
and you had a couple of helpers, a week tops.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and now I've been just adding little details in the off season. I drop my wife off at work in the evening, and she works down the street from the castle, and I just come and I have a bag of LEDs, and I just keep making little things, glow and rotate and spin and light up and stuff like that. So
you could come one season and then come the next season, and there's a little bit more added to that room.
Sure. Well, and even if we don't change full scenes around, because of the way we do our show, we're building new props in every scene for that particular show every year.
Oh, wow. Now, that actually leads me to my next question. I know you guys do change things up each year, and you guys do something that is a little bit different than the standard haunt, because you guys also run like an escape game within your haunt. So not only is it like a walkthrough, but people actually have to do stuff to get to the next room.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. We started the game in '96. Because we were already doing kind of twitchy, weird things to them anyway. So we kind of codified it. And every year you're on a challenge. You get sent out looking for 3 talismans.
Okay.
3 lucky charms kind of for that year. So you have to encounter different people, solve, when we first started, it was just simple riddle of the Sphinx kind of stuff and things like that. Or one year it was put your arm through this guillotine and say, yes, we can drop the blade, you get whatever you're looking for. And it was a magician's guillotine, so it wasn't like it was going to hurt them.
Right. They weren't actually going to lose the arm.
But we decorated the whole room with severed arms that were holding their little beads of protection and other talismans. And so, they wouldn't do it. It took a long time for this area to kind of catch up to what we were trying to do.
Okay. Now, do you guys change it a little bit every year? Do you change the full thing, or do you just change bits and pieces of it?
Well, the story is different every year,
Okay.
And if people are really paying attention, it's almost as if for 25 years it's been one story, and each year's been a chapter.
Oh.
Nobody would ever feel like they're missing out if they just came to one once in a while. Although why you would only come once in a while, I don't understand.
I was going to say, I don't understand this once in a while thing. It's an annual thing, or, a couple months out of the year, go visit. Now, how do you come up with the different tasks and things that they have to do? Do you and the wife sit down and brainstorm it? Is it something that comes out of your head? What's the process?
Everything. It's weird. It's a weird balance of it. I would say that my wife is the game master.
Okay.
My operations director is also a for real magician.
Oh, wow.
And so he is the magic director when we need effects. Like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you would put this thing on the table and then it would turn into, whatever.
Right.
And it's like, how do we do that doesn't look like it's bunnies and doves at a kid's party, and that kind of stuff. So he'll figure that stuff out. And I have a performance director who actually started with me as a kid, and now she's the performance director. So we all balance and bounce ideas. The overall stories, to be honest, come from life in the world.
Okay.
They come from what's happening in the world, or they come, we've been around long enough now that we've lost cast members, right? So we've actually written twice. We've written whole shows for the dearly departed for real.
Aww.
Stuff like that with them as an inspiration for what the props would be, and stuff like that.
That's
so
very sweet.
Overall, sometimes boom, they come out easy, and sometimes it's like pulling teeth, and sometimes we have 1 or 2 years. My wife, the show last year was mostly written by my wife Dawn, and she had been working on some of the little bits and pieces of it, I think, in her head for years. And she's like, "Hey, I got this thing." Like, okay. So the only struggle, it was great, and the customers loved it. The only thing we had to do was play around with how it still fits into the magic stuff. We don't want to be just storytelling. We don't want to be just games. We don't want to be just magic. It's a little bit of everything, and And the magic here is never presented in a way of, hey, now we're going to do a magic trick. It's like things will happen. You'll make decisions. And our biggest dream is that while you're driving home, you're going to go, what the hell was that all about? So it's a little more on the subtle side with that. We force you to do the things we want to do and you don't know it.
It's kind of like suggest that just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I got a few people chiming in the chat asking if the decorating of the rooms and the props is ever done. And of course, I'm assuming the answer to that is no.
You know how you can tell it's not done? I don't have cobwebs anywhere. Cobwebs is the last thing you put up, right? Because they're a pain in the butt to paint around or do anything else. So the couple little areas that have cobwebs, to be honest, they might be real at this point, not fake. But
that adds to the charm, I think. I think realism with cobwebs is a good thing.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, no, I think I'll be tinkering on every room forever.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's always a chance to add. My husband and I, we do a home haunt normally. We have the kids come through and we turn our one-car garage into a haunt, so they go through and they come back out. And we're always upgrading and changing and adding and, putting new things out. So I totally understand that because it's an ever-evolving thing. Mm-hmm. And you guys have... How big is Castle Blood?
I think you're in the building, then you go up to the second floor, then you come back down into the addition, then you go outside to the cemetery, then you go up the hill into Witch's Woods and Crowhaven, and then you go back into another building. So I think the pathway you're actually going through, not in linear feet, but I think it's about 6,500 square feet maybe.
Wow. And
so, yeah, a lot. It's a lot.
How long does that take to do? So, like, if I were coming to visit you guys and I was, doing a walkthrough, of course, during the season, how long would that take me to go through?
It sort of depends on how good you are at the tasks, but we shoot for an hour.
Oh, wow. That is something I've never heard of a haunt that long. That's awesome.
Well,
that's definitely
you're in each room for 3 or 4 minutes doing stuff. We only start groups every 5 minutes because you're in each room having to concentrate, having to figure out what you're doing and stuff like that.
I was going to ask you, do you guys do small groups? Like, what's the max number of people that you'll put in together?
Actually, the groups will be hopefully only at 6.
Okay.
Although if people came with 8 is our normal. If people come with 7 or 8, but they're all like they came together, they're in their own little pod.
Right.
We'll still let them go through like that.
Okay.
But we're gearing it towards 6. Some of our ticket packages are 4 on purpose.
Yeah.
If a older couple, because of the no chainsaw thing, we do get older couples on date night coming.
That's
and
awesome.
If they just the 2 of them because they don't want to be mixed in with strangers this year.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, the rooms are all big enough that you could have 2 couples that didn't know each other and they'd always be 6, 7, 8 feet apart.
Oh, wow.
But if anybody's uncomfortable, we're not going to make them do anything this year.
Right.
Like Too Damn Bad. Fred, this is Joe. You're now friends.
You're now buddies. Here's his phone number. Call him later. Right. It's fine.
Yeah, but not this year so much.
Yeah, no, I can understand that with this year. I do have a quick question popping in the chat room asking how accessible is it as far as wheelchairs or anything like that go?
Because of the second floor, it's not.
Okay.
There are only a couple of scenes up there, so we can work through most other things if people wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, it has historical designation, even this building. So there's only so much stuff we're allowed to do with it. There's only so much stuff we can afford to do with it, of course.
Gotcha. But they could come and still do the rest of it. They just couldn't do the upstairs.
Yeah, we can figure that out for them.
Okay, that's awesome to know. I know I get that a lot from people, and I've got some friends that are, that have wheelchairs and things, so they always like to see what they can or, can't do just depending on the building. So it's
one of those things that officially we say, no, we're not accessible, but we're also the touchy-feely kind of haunt, and we're not going to screw over people whenever we can,
Yeah.
If you show up in a wheelchair that's one of these giant ATV ones, we're going to have a problem,
Yeah.
But, we have a couple of antique wheelchairs, and they make it through most of the parts. So.
Oh, after my own. We have some antique wheelchairs in my front room when you walk into my house. I love them. That's fantastic. Well, thank you for answering those questions. And I do have some more awesome set pictures here I wanted to show off too, because I can't get enough of this stuff. It's so pretty and so well done.
Thank you. Those are, on the left there is our. We're in a funeral parlor, so we felt honor bound to actually have a viewing room. You know.
I think you kind of had to.
Yeah. So we have church pews and we have kneelers and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it gets pretty creepy in there for sure.
Do you actually stick anybody in the coffin?
Usually no, but we have had when you do your task, a disembodied voice from inside tells you how you're doing as you go along and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
We've had little air ticklers hooked up to the church pews. You know, so like somebody could be kneeling in front of that coffin doing the little speech thing they have to do. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden we do a scare to the rest of their group and the person that's at the coffin has no idea what's going on. All of a sudden they just know their friends are screaming.
That's fun.
Yeah. And on the right there is one of the statues that one of our cast members, Sarah Black, made. It's a beloved. It's our second beloved. The very first beloved she made in 1998. And if you Google Yard Haunt Beloved, you'll find thousands of them, I think, now.
Oh, wow.
Because the year after we did ours, somebody was nice enough to actually make a tutorial way back, you know, like 99 or 2000, on how to make it. A friend of ours from Utah, and gave us a little credit in it. And people all over make beloved statues for their front yards, for their cemeteries all the time. It's really cool. I have a Pinterest. One of my Pinterest things is all the beloved pictures I can find from all over the country. It's pretty neat.
Oh, wow. They're beautiful. Now, did she also do like all the skulls and stuff that are all around her?
No, the foam skulls. Those ones that you're seeing are sculpted by Jeff Wehinkle. Used to be of Gag Studios for the Reaper ones. Jeff and I and another friend, Paul, owned Artistic Props for a while, and we made foam props. So the windows above the coffin on the left, mm-hmm. those little sconces that have candles on them, and the picture on the right, those are all from our old company, which is defunct now. But, you know, we sold it out, and I think the molds are somewhere, I hope.
Well, they're absolutely beautiful. And I mean, just from the few pictures that I have seen, the attention to detail in it is just, it's so pretty.
It ends up being an argument between some of us of how dark and spooky are we going to let the haunt be, because we're all so proud of the stuff we make.
Yeah, it's tough between wanting to have it lit so you can be like, look at this amazing stuff, and then being like, but it's gotta be creepy.
Yeah. There are adults that come to the matinee because those are lights on.
Oh, so okay.
And because there's lights on, and you won't mess up the actors, we allow people to take pictures all the way through.
Oh, that's
so there's
cool.
A lot of adults that come to that just like, I actually want to see the place for real. Well, okay.
So it kind of almost becomes a giant photo op as they're going through, as far as like the matinee goes.
We let them, but you know, it's the kids are 5, 6, 7. They come dressed up. Mom wants to take a picture with the pretty vampire lady in that one room. Yeah, we're gonna let them.
Aww.
You know, where's it gonna be? All over the internet saying we went to Castle Blood. Like, I'm gonna stop them.
Take all that free press.
Right.
No, that's fantastic. So I totally didn't even realize you guys did the day tour. I did see something about it, but I didn't realize it was fully lights on.
It is fully lights on. We turn off the animated, the pneumatic air props and the air cannons, and all the scare actors come out of their little hidey holes, and they put on a little bit of a more friendly costume, and we still perform the show,
right?
But then the scare actors and other people are trick-or-treat stations all the way through.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, it's a whole thing that's like, we do it because we were all kid performers, the originators of the castle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We do it because our heart says we need to do it. And this kind of Halloween, I have adults that get emotional when they see the haunt, because this kind of Halloween you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
So kids to see it,
Aww. Now, do you guys let the adults dress up too that are going through during the matinee?
Yeah, as long as you don't have weapons, fake or real, and this is ironic, as long as you're not wearing a mask, except for this year.
Well, special exceptions.
Nothing that's blocking your vision. That's all. We the cast here, the denizens, all have name tags on their costumes, so you can tell who's really, who's a customer and who's working. So.
Right. So okay, Sally's a customer, but Jane is not.
Well, we need to do that because we have so many people that just come in for a few days here and there over the season. Not every cast member knows every other cast member even.
I was going to say, it's got to be hard to keep track of people, especially if you have them coming in for one weekend or, even a night.
Yep, it's a big giant Tetris game. It brings new energy every weekend to the haunt because there's some people new and this is their big thing for Halloween, no matter what weekend it is. So they're all revved up, especially when they come in the third or fourth weekend and the locals that have been here slogging it out all month are just dying. And all of a sudden, poof, we get an influx of people at the end of the month that are all just rocking and rolling and ready to go. It's very helpful.
Now, how do you find your out-of-state performers? Do they reach out to you, or are these people that, you've known? How do you end up with all these
Usually
people?
It's invitation, but especially when we started, but, now with the internet, a lot of hunters know each other from around or from the conventions, from Trans World or Midwest Haunters or whatever. So we'll take some guest actors like that. We're fortunate. We actually have a few former haunt owners that don't own their own haunt anymore, and they've joined us. So that is such a godsend when you have haunt owners as performers because they know what the deal is for everything.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, everything. They I'll go take care of that for you.
That's awesome. So you get lots of helping hands, which is nice.
Yep.
And you used to do at the conventions. Did you ever were you consulting with anybody, or have you helped anybody else out with their haunts?
Yeah, I have built 21 haunts not called Castle Blood over the years, all over America, and I was part of the team, as was my sister you saw in the picture, and another cast member for the first American-style haunt in Hong Kong. Back in 2001 at Ocean Park, we worked with Boneyard Productions and built it here and shipped it there. And if you think that was fun in the fall of 2001, you are wrong. That was the year of 9/11 and big giant containers, weird stuff, and trying to get back and forth and everything was not easy.
Oh wow, yeah, I can imagine.
Built a lot from just helping people with their yard haunts all the way up to theme parks.
Oh wow.
That was her summer job for years, going with me on the road and building. She'd be requested as a painter a lot of years.
Wow. Do you guys still do that kind of stuff, or are you strictly with
Not
Castle
as much. Like when we started doing the TV show, that kind of went by the wayside because we needed to spend the warm weather months filming.
Right.
Because it was a little tough to be filming out when the castle was in my yard. It was a little tough to be filming in the wintertime, so we're sitting there, if you look close at the Christmas episodes, we're sweating to death. So that kind of calmed down. And to be honest, I'm not getting any younger. And boy, like any construction worker, it's like, yeah, no, the knees are shot. And
it's a lot.
And then having to move, we moved in 2012, and then we moved again into this place in 2014. So it's like just working on here keeps us busy now.
Oh, I bet. Now, do you consider this your final resting place?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason not to. We're fortunate that we own it outright. There's always political whims. There's always other things, but we have most of that covered. My operations manager, I mentioned, Chris Handa, who portrays Professor Scry up in the lab. He and I are both registered with the state of Pennsylvania as haunt inspectors.
Oh.
And we take all the classes and we do all this stuff. And, we're not actually bonded, but we have licenses with our name on them.
Oh, wow.
That gives us some legitimacy when we need to go talk to the city council about what we're doing and stuff like that. They're like, oh, okay, we don't have to worry about it. Because that's all the city council wants. They don't want to have to worry about it.
Right. They just want that, it's okay, I promise.
Yeah. They don't want anything coming back on them. So if the state says, no, these guys are okay, they're like, oh, phew, good, we don't have to deal with it.
One less thing I got to worry about. Now, I've got some other photos here just to show off some of the costuming of some of your cast members here.
Hey, well, there's the management team. Other than my daughter, there's the management team, and I think we've talked about each of them. Mm-hmm. So the witch is actually my wife and her more hardcore persona, Hexabart. as opposed to when you saw her with the grandkids in her lab coat.
Yes, she looks a little more scary here.
Yeah, for sure. She is definitely a signature character here. Everybody loves her, and they want to see her perform, but they also want her outside so they can get pictures with her, you know?
Oh, I bet.
In the center is Whiplash. That is Sarah Black, originator of the beloved statue, and she's been with me since she was a kid. Got her out of a local high school drama department.
Oh, nice.
And then that is Professor Scry, his own self. So yeah, you got my wife and two of the group of my best friends right there.
That's fantastic. I love the costuming. So pretty.
Thank you.
It's done so well.
Professor Scry is very pretty, isn't he?
He is. It's them cheekbones.
It's the cheekbone, yep.
It's them rosy cheeks right there on the side.
Tell him he looks good with the beard, because sometimes he shaves it off and he looks better with the beard.
So if
beard, yeah.
If you're watching, keep the beard.
There you go.
That's it. I'm saying it now. Just keep that beard. Now, you guys have won a couple of awards. You've been voted the must-see haunt for numerous years through Scare Factor.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Was that just like surprise?
I have no idea. I mean, some of these things you see, like Coaster Nation runs one, but everybody can just vote, and you can set up a thing where you can vote 1 million times a day. So we don't have that kind of people. We don't have, we don't do that kind of throughput even to have that kind of customer base to do anything. So when things happen from Scare Factor. Scare Factory is an animation company.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Kind of like, oh, okay. How did that happen? Well, that's incredibly awesome. So I assume it's customer related and customers vote somehow. I think they factor in the reviews, because usually most years they send a team to review us.
Yes.
To see what's actually going on.
Okay.
And I think the weirdness, we're not like the other haunts.
You're not.
Kind of plays into that as far as the must-see part, There are bigger, huger haunts that are easily as beautiful as us in Pennsylvania by far. You know what I mean?
Right.
100 Acre when they're open is great. Bates Motel on the eastern side of the state is great. There's lots.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's just our bizarreness that helps get us noticed like that.
It's definitely unique between the storytelling, the magic, the actually having to physically do certain things. And then, of course, the fact that it's about an hour long it's all a lovely, appealing package. So I can see why, folks would want to come back and do it again and again, and why, you guys were voted must-see haunt, because it sounds amazing, and it's something that the husband's chiming in that we're going to have to take a road trip here one of these years. Which I'm not arguing at all.
Depending on what you do, your tour may end up being very different. There was something we did for our St. Patrick's Day show this year, which was like the last show before the world ended.
Yeah.
And they had to accomplish something, and they actually got something, but it wasn't one of the talisman, and it also wasn't something that they had to trade away. They got to keep it.
Oh.
But they were also told, you got to bring this back in October.
Oh.
Important. Now, we don't, St. Patrick's Day is 2 evenings of just a few hundred people, no big deal.
Right.
But if these people do remember to bring it back, they're getting a different show in one room than anybody else gets, because they have the thing that they need. Everybody else is going to have to still work all over again to get that thing. So,
okay.
I want our regulars to always think there's some reason to keep coming.
Yes.
That are really that different. So we can really claim, depending on who you are and what you do, you get a different show than other people.
That's awesome. Now, what age limit are you guys geared toward? I know you have like the matinee show that's kind of like an all-age thing, but your nighttime show, what ages do you guys say is good to attend?
I don't think that many of the younger than 10 would understand all the games, but since nobody's going to grab them or toss them around or, any of that kind of stuff, we get them younger than 10.
Okay.
And most of them do sort of okay. We try to say, look, you know your kid better than we do.
Right.
They need to be able to tell what's fake and what's real. and telling me that they love Harry Potter because of our game stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or they love Scooby-Doo, or they sit with you while you're watching the old Halloween movie. Yeah, they're in the safety of Dad's arm on the couch with popcorn.
Right.
Is a little different, even if we're not that kind of a brutal haunt, you know?
Yeah.
So there are times we keep, we have the first room has a secondary door that'll dump you right back out to the porch and you can go. And we usually keep matinee tickets out there. So even running, we're like, please come back for the matinee. Here you go.
Come back when the lights are on. It's safer.
Right. Here's free tickets. Please come back. But it's like, not like this. So,
oh my gosh.
So yeah, they 11, 12-year-olds really start getting it.
Okay.
You know, so.
Sounds...
And we kind of, in the old like Warner Brothers tradition, we have two levels of jokes going on too for the adults and for the younger.
Kids. Nice.
Yeah, or just because we're old, the ones that may not get the other ones can be in their 20s at this point. They don't know what the heck we're talking. Yeah, crazy grandpa vampire over there. What the heck's he doing? So.
Right, and then they get older and they go, aha.
Yep.
I know what you were doing. Now, you guys have a couple of different admission packages for the haunt, and I know you guys are doing things a little bit differently this year with COVID and all that. Like, are you guys limiting your entry? Are you suggesting online tickets? Are you taking tickets at the door? How are you guys handling everything?
We are still selling tickets at the door.
Okay.
We figured out the bare minimum so we survive another year kind of thing, and then added on to that. Okay. So 2/3 of our tickets are available as reserve time online ticketing.
Okay.
I doubt they'll all sell, and we still have plenty of spaces for walk-ups, you know, but a lot of people, and I fought, you know, again, my wife is smarter than me on mentioning this. I fought the whole reserve time thing or the online ticketing thing. Yeah. Because I didn't think it was the spirit of Halloween. Hey, it's last minute, you grab your kids, you grab $20, you go to a haunt, right?
Right.
But, you know, well, now everybody picks their seat at the movie theater, and not as an old joke when you're 8 years old.
Yeah.
And they book their time at escape rooms, and they do, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, well, then let's do it. And it's actually grown every year. So once this year hit, I got a hold of the service we use in like April, May, and said, yeah, we're going to really push.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it. I mean, it's a couple bucks more, but you can pick your time, and you don't have to show up until 10 minutes before your time. So there's no line to wait in. You can either sit in the parking lot in the car or just don't get here that early, you know?
Get here a little
and now with no extra charge, we're doing it for the matinees because we don't want families with a bunch of kids to have to wait in line if they don't want to.
Right.
We have the line all separated, so there's different pod areas for each group, and they can just wait in their pod area, and there's distance between those. And
okay.
The town, whether they like it or not, all our sidewalks and everything are getting painted. Oh, well. Our mayor loves Halloween, and and is a crazy yard haunter. So we're usually up.
Nice. And you guys released a special earlier today on your website or on Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we always need money off season to fundraise to build stuff, right?
Yes.
You know, and especially this year, we haven't been open since, well, St. Patrick's Day. We canceled multiple shows. We do ghost hunts here. We canceled all of those leading up to now. So my wife has designed, again, my wife, because she's doing everything these days, I Helped Save Halloween shirt.
Aww.
I Helped Save Halloween at Castle Blood. It's a wonderful logo she's doing. And if you do your reserve time ticket and you pay before the last Sunday in September, you get a free T-shirt with it.
Ooh.
So if you reserve early, it's $25 for the ticket and you get a T-shirt.
Oh, done. And usually you pay $25 for a T-shirt.
Correct. We also have for general admission, we have it's a cheaper discounted price on the ticket, a 4-pack of them, and you get one shirt with that.
Oh.
So affordability for whatever people want to do, and you know, if people are allowed to buy multiple, so if they buy 2 of these 4-packs and show up with 8 people, yeah, fine, you all go together, it's all good, everything's nice.
And then they can fight over the shirt, and it's not, you know, hey.
They fight over the shirt, and oh, by the way, they're also for sale in the gift shop.
Ah, now does the haunt end in the gift shop?
You betcha. You do the farewell room, you get checked out on your game, you see if you won or lost, and exit through the gift shop.
That's perfect. Now, what else do you guys have in the gift shop? Is it just like t-shirts, and do you guys sell cups or anything?
We have all kinds of branded stuff.
Okay.
But we have like one showcase is full of vintage monster stuff.
Ooh.
2 showcases and 2 sections of the wall are all my daughter or my wife's one-of-a-kind original art.
Ooh.
My wife does all these crazy retro Halloween Christmas ornaments, like
That's
big
cool.
witch or silly pumpkin heads with the spindles and all like that. And,
Yeah.
But they're all one-of-a-kinders, and there's actually people locally that come every year and collect her stuff now. So that's very cool. My daughter does more on the cutesy side of things, a little on the more like chibi monsters, that kind of stuff. So so we have the original art. We have a makeup school 4 blocks away from us.
Oh, wow.
And we meet kids there. Sometimes they end up performing here, but we also then can pick up some of their pieces and their original art, so we can help them out with a couple bucks. We get to sell and display things that nobody else has. So,
very cool. Sounds like you guys got all kinds of goodies. And now just to
we try.
Just to show folks your I got some hours of operations for everybody. Now I've got you guys are open every weekend in October and Halloween night this year. Is that correct?
Sure, because Halloween's on Saturday, yep.
Oh, with the full moon, and then the time gets pushed back. It's a doozy. So we've got you Fridays and Saturdays from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then Sundays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then you guys do the matinees from 2 to 4 the last 2 Sundays.
Right, and those closing times are not when we're throwing everybody out.
Okay.
Those closing times are when we cut off the line, like when we close the ticket booth, So if you're in by 10 o'clock, you're still going through.
Okay. So then you guys are there till, so technically
11.
If somebody's there at 10, you're there till about 11 and then boom, get out.
Right. Which we knocked it back an hour on Friday and Saturday this year, to be honest, just to take it easier on my actors too.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that our attendance is going to be a little bit lower because of everything.
Right.
There's also so many haunts closing around here. Well, I don't know. So
you may be busier.
I don't know how to. Well, 100 Acre Manor, dear friends, great actors, love them. And Kennywood, who went our theme park here, and when they started doing that, we actually built some of their haunts for them.
Oh wow!
Well, we're opening this year. Well, that's 110,000 tickets that aren't being sold.
Wow!
Right, and we're a half an hour away from that. And Demon House across the river from us is right here. With it's like, is that going to get spread out through everybody?
Right.
We don't know. How could you tell?
I mean, it would be nice if people started looking, opening their, their distance and saying, hey, let's look in these other areas. Now, where are you guys located in Pennsylvania?
We are about 18 miles south of Pittsburgh if you took the river. So it's a little windy. Pittsburgh is all windy hills and rivers around here.
Yes.
So we are in the Monongahela Valley, Monongahela River.
Okay.
Just south of Pittsburgh. And there's a lot of nice haunts around here. If you're coming from a distance to see us, buy your ticket early and come see us, and then you'll have plenty of time. We'll hook you up and send you to the other haunts in the area. You can do multiples in a night. That's another thing about the reserved time. You want to have dinner, you want to do this, you want to do that, you reserve your time, when you're getting out.
Yeah. You got a chance to go get dinner before, or you can do a late dinner afterwards, and it makes things a little easier, that's for sure. Now, you did mention that you guys do ghost haunting at the
We do. Well, when you have a building that's 105 years old, everybody in the city that you're in is scared to death to walk near it or in it. And we start building things and working on it, and stuff happens that we don't know or can't explain, so we just blow it off. But then when we do get open, the customers start saying the same thing. We were set up at a horror convention, and there was a paranormal investigator table down the way from us, and the guy that runs it was on the old MTV Ghost Academy show. So he was like, legit, and you can have your opinions on whether anything is legit or not. That's fine.
Right.
But this guy and their team they believe and they treat it like it's legit.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, why don't you come down and look at our building? We're not going to tell you anything about what's going on in there. We're not going to tell you any of the legends of what towny kids have run screaming out of it, like the beginning of Casper, right? You know, you go through, spend some time in it, and you tell us at the end.
Yeah.
And they spent about an hour and a half walking through, and they came out and they pretty much hit every checklist of what we assumed they would.
Wow.
So we made a deal, and we wrote them a little license thing, and usually 4 or 5 times a year they bring a group of maybe 35 or 40 people, and they split them up into groups, and each one gets their own investigator, and they know where the hot spots are, and they seem to get readings and seem to get fun things. I was still a little skeptical.
Okay.
And they didn't know this for a couple of years, and I didn't want to make them mad. But the very first one we did, I sent a couple of my cast members as just regular customers with them. I had my cast members not wear any castle stuff, because we're here when they're open, when they're doing this, just so that people don't get lost or go where they shouldn't in the castle, right? So they didn't wear any of their castle stuff. They didn't even come in and say hi to us. They just went through the program and did everything, you know, and afterwards, Nancy, who actually was one of one of those haunt owners I was talking about.
Yes.
I go, so how was it? She goes, I don't know. They asked, hey, would you say hello to the people here? And I clearly heard something say hello.
Oh, wow.
I know what we usually do in that room, and we don't have anything that would do that.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, you make your own judgment call there, right?
Yeah.
You know, these crazy claims need crazy explanations, but we have a lot of people that really have a great time, and yeah, it's very successful. And they kind of do this with a bunch of buildings, different, not haunts, but other buildings that are historic or in rough shape and could use an extra boost of a little cash to try and keep restoring the building.
Yeah.
Because quite often we spend way more on trying to keep the building in shape than we do on skulls and spiders, you know?
Right.
So.
Oh, wow. Now, have you ever had any weird things happen while you've been there?
Nothing other than, you know, hair raising on your arm because maybe you psych yourself out.
Right.
There's a lot of old ductwork here in here that was added later, obviously, with building this old. So all the galvanized. So if you're walking around, you might hear thumps. You might hear this. It might seem like it's following you because it's happening like 3 or 4 steps behind you.
Oh, wow.
You know? At least I've decided that's what it is. And people that used to live here, they come by because they want to see whatever happened to their memories of, oh, somebody got pushed down the stairs or somebody this or somebody that, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you want to come see what it's like now? And they're like, no.
Really? No. They're just like,
no.
I'm good. Oh, wow. I've got a couple people chiming in. I've got Rachel in the chat saying that someone was looking at her in the library room last October.
That was just a local pervert. My niece is pretty cute. Oh,
I love it. Now, are you guys going to start doing the ghost tours again? Or are you going to wait until things kind of calm down?
Change how we do them and make the groups a lot smaller. But we have 2 sold-out shows on September 11th and 12th.
Oh,
try and get
wow.
to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do they have to go through your website to get tickets, or do they have to go through?
They're already sold out. Yeah, they take care of everything. I do nothing.
Nice.
I don't even go on the tours. I want plausible deniability that I'm not doing hokey stuff in here, you know?
Yeah.
So I sit out in the gift shop and play on my phone or do paperwork, and the investigators take care of everything.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat then. So then you're just like, hands off, here, go in.
Yep.
I'm here.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Now I've got to ask really quickly before I let you go, because I know we're getting close to our time this evening. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
I do have to ask though, and I ask this of everybody, and you've been doing haunts for your whole life. Is there one that you have that's just like deep down your all-time favorite? It can be a current haunt. It can be one that's gone. Is there one that you kind of favor more than, any? Of course, other than your own.
Well, we're going to take the Haunted Mansion at Disney off the list, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to remember what a great time I had at Terror on Church Street down in Orlando.
Let's stop it.
I got to go through there a couple times, and I actually ended up being friends with David Clevenger, who was the designer there.
Okay.
That's a wonderful show, a wonderful theatrical show. I mean, when the guy that designs the Phantom of the Opera show over at the Orange County, I don't know where it was, but it was Zach, and he was a former Disney Christmas decorator employee too.
Oh wow.
So when he had background working in a haunt, it was pretty magical, that place.
I unfortunately didn't get to experience it, but I have lots of friends here in Orlando that have either worked there or that have visited, and it's been one of their favorite things. A friend of ours, Alan O, over at AEO Studios, worked there for many
years. Writer, is that how you say his last name? I know him. Roach.
Yes, Roach.
Yep.
Yes.
I have a Terror on Church Street poster that Roach signed for me.
Do you really?
I do.
Yay, bringing worlds together.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. He actually reprised that role. I want to say like a month ago. They were doing a little PSA on like social distancing and sanitization, and there's like a couple of little clips online. He went ahead and he got into Roach makeup and did a few little videos.
That's fun.
Yeah. So wow, that's. Thank you for giving some love to our stomping grounds. We appreciate that. That's awesome. Now, out of all of, haunt things are amazing and I love them so much. But I have to ask, and I ask this of everybody, what is your favorite scary movie?
My favorite scary movie is Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes.
And the original Fright Night is a close second. So, like, if you ask me what my favorite vampire movie was, it'd be Fright Night.
Fright Night is very dear to me. I watch it at least 3 times a year. At least, especially, it always comes out during Halloween. I do like local movie nights and stuff like that, and I always kind of slip that in there just because it's such a great film. And Bride of Frankenstein she's got to be my favorite Universal monster, I think.
Well, just the whole thing. I mean, to be honest, I've stolen lines out of that movie for the haunt for years. What a perfect night for mayhem and madness, or whatever. Yes. When she's still Mary in the beginning,
Yes.
Or we use a lot of Dr. Pretorius's lines in here. That awesome. Kind of. It's just so over the top crazy. We do little Easter eggs like that just to amuse ourselves a lot,
I love that though. And then of course somebody that's a nut or a big fan of those films that comes through would find them and be like, "Oh my God, that's awesome."
Yeah, we have one right in the front room this year that I have a feeling at least 3 or 4 times a night when our little ghost character is doing her introduction in the first room, they'll start talking along with her. Now, she's young enough that I had to explain to her, if they start talking along with you, it's okay. It's a good thing. You're doing good. She had no context.
So she was kind of thinking it was like an original thing. And then you had
it's just a little throwaway thing. It's no big deal. But, we like the little throwaway things, right?
Yes. I think that we all do. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us this evening and sharing with us some of the amazing things about Castle Blood and, what people can expect if they visit your haunt. And if you guys haven't yet checked out the website, I did drop the links in the comments. It's castleblood.com. You can get your tickets online, scope it out, check out the FAQs, check out all the things. Very, very informative. Have you guys started your ticket sales already?
Started today. You saw the sales go up, and we started today, and a lot of people already chimed in and wanted to grab those special T-shirts. So, yeah, good. Both the reserve time and the general admission ones, we've sold a bunch.
Good, and hopefully
the full month until we open, so that's very encouraging.
Yes, yay! Well, hopefully you sell a bunch more tickets, and I'm sure you guys are going to do well this year. And I've got a couple of questions coming in the chat before I turn you loose here. Do you guys also have an online shop? I know some of the costumes you have available through online.
We do. I'm horrible at keeping it up. There is both mine and my wife's Etsy shops are the shop on castleblood.com.
Okay.
So do have costumes available. You'll see pictures. Some of those ornaments that she sells when she has them in stock are all on her Etsy, which is on the Castle Blood page.
Okay. Good deal. I'm going to plug that in for you. Well, all right. So I've got that in there. So it's castleblood.com. Check out the website. Buy your tickets. Haunt local or travel out of state this year. Find something good. Enjoy it. Thank you again. Is there anybody that you want to say hey to, or is there anything that you wanted to talk about this evening?
No, I think you had a very nice list of questions. I'll bring up my niece Rachel for a second, because she's the one that found you and listens to you or watches you regularly and kind of hooked us up. So that's nice.
She did. Thank you, Rachel.
Otherwise, I just, over 28 years, there's been a lot of cast members here, and they do, well, way much more work than I do. So, it's always a big thank you to them.
Great. Well, thank you again. Thank you again, Rachel, for hooking me up with your uncle. It's appreciated. I always love finding new haunts and sharing them with everybody, really, because everyone needs new haunts in their lives.
Come see us. You'll get spoiled. I promise.
Yes, do it. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you guys. Thank all of you guys out there for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, the replay, make sure that you visit castleblood.com. Check them out. Visit them this year in PA. And until next time, boys and girls, make sure that you keep it spooky.